Hello, Nuku. If you don't mind, let's just give like 2 more minutes
Okay, sure.
for
Yeah,
others to
hello.
join. All
Yep.
right, thank you. I'm just trying to set up the back end here.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I lost connection for a minute. I'm glad I'm
Okay.
back.
Yeah, I see the message in Slack. Is
Mhm.
that a new link or is the same one that I'm
No,
using?
it's the same link. It's the same link because sometimes people for some reasons are not able to find their link. So I just put it there for easy access.
Hmm. Well, I see. I
All right. I think we already 8 minutes in and we should get started.
All right. That's a nice tip, Neely.
You're very interesting, seriously.
Well,
Anyway, so given that our focus for today is chapter 4, I'm going to give you the sharing access if you want to share your Scrum board.
if I want to
You should be able
share
to
my
share
what?
now
Pardon
your
me?
Scrum board, your Jira board.
Oh, my screen. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. One
Mhm.
second.
All right, no problem.
Do, 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 do. So, share screen. Desktop one. Share. Accept. Maybe this is not the case now. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
All
All right.
right.
So, from our homework, let's put it like this. I wasn't exactly sure if I did it right. I hope I did. I did some research on user stories and uh, it was some other like I forgot the name of, but anyway, I practice a bit by downloading and inputting an ongoing project into Jira and kind of looking at that, I kind of, ooh, that's how you need. That's because for me, I knew like an epic, it's bigger, and the stories are multiple of like multiple stories make an epic. Let's put it like that, right? And over there was described in colors. Here was a bit different. Anyway, based on our what we got like with chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 and all that. So initially, I just tried to understand. Pretty much that's what I did. As if we go through the daily scrum, what did I accomplish? I did accomplish working a bit with Jira, getting more knowledge about user stories, like a better understanding the layout, as you said, the uh, different methods, which includes the invest or the 3 Cs. So that's pretty much what I did.
Beautiful.
Uh, if you don't mind reviewing this, giving me feedback
Hmm.
on the,
Definitely.
so maybe I went a little bit too much ahead, but it's a lot that we still need to learn about, like
Hmm.
when you estimate the points, the story points, right?
Hmm.
It says it's relative. I understand that, but
Yeah.
it has to be relative to something.
Hmm.
That's the way I understand the relative. So I just
Good.
put 6, 4, and 10. So if we can go over them board, I think that's
All
how I
right.
get it too. Okay, so pretty much I created 3 user stories, which I wanted I wanted the stories to comply with those not rules, but the layout that is proper. So let's say I have 3 of them.
Do you want to open the story?
Yeah, but why doesn't this?
So if you go up a little bit, where you are, no, where you are, where you were, just go down now a little bit. Where you have the story code, no,
Mhm.
on the right, where you have that little, yeah. So there, where you have the story code that has the green, yeah, right there. Click right there.
It opens up different. Why
Yeah.
is it showing it? And where is all my description? Because I know I unsaved
So
changes.
maybe I'm suspecting one thing. So maybe you put in the description and then you didn't save it. If you
No,
didn't click
see,
save. Oh, okay, I
maybe
see it on that
this
one.
one, the last one, maybe I missed on. Yeah, this one, the last. Ouch. Okay, at least we have something to review. So,
Sure.
let's say one
All
of
right,
the.
if that's the story you want to talk about, open it the same way I showed you on the other one. Just go on that little green thing and click. Mhm.
Okay, so we have it on a bigger screen. I see now.
Yes. All right, so let me see. Scrum Guide Daily Review. As a student, as students, okay. So when you were, so by the way, good job for putting all this together. That's really good. And I like the fact that you thought about adding it to your current sprints.
Okay,
So that was also great. Now, going by the description, that's now the homework we're talking about. The way I would um write that description, I would speak from an individual user perspective to make it easier instead of speaking from a collective user perspective.
I see.
Yeah, so that's really only one correction that I would suggest. Mhm. As a student, I want to.
I need to.
Yeah, so we put I want to. That's a standard. It doesn't, I'm not saying I need to, it's wrong though. I'm just going by the
Okay, okay,
standard
yeah, yeah.
industry. Mhm. I want to I want to daily review the Scrum. I want to review the Scrum Guide daily. Mhm. Good. So that I can
Yeah, well, now it's obvious. It's
so that I can adopt the agile mindset and the Scrum framework
I just put the
faster.
word. Oh, okay, faster more than yeah.
Mhm. I can adopt the agile mindset and the Scrum framework faster. Good. Yeah, but the point is, there is really no perfect right or wrong here as long as you get it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think you get
yeah.
it. Yeah, I think you get it. That's really the whole point. You getting the
So
fact that a user story has to contain the who, the what, and the why. That's what's important. All right. And then for acceptance criteria, easily navigating the Scrum guide. Okay, answer Scrum related questions in a quick manner, even if we have to look into the guide.
because he is for me the way I see learning, right? It's
Yeah.
one thing to just memorize things or learn them
Mhm,
just so you remember, and it's another thing to
mhm.
understand and know where to look when you need it. Like you can look in.
I would suggest the second one. That's what I
Yeah,
advocate for as well. But
yeah.
it's just funny how you put it in there.
I didn't know a better way. That's my problem. In my mind, I understand them very well,
I
but when
like it
I
though.
know,
I like it, but it's so authentic and funny though. I mean, when I take the Scrum Guide
you can
exams,
easily see
definitely I
that.
have my book open in front of me to refer. I mean, that's the good thing with the exams because you sit in your house and take it. So you
Yeah,
open your book as needed.
yeah. Hello,
Yep.
Jordan.
Hi, Geraldine. Think she's still connecting. Anyway, so yeah, so far that's a great start. Now one thing I would suggest is there is a whole other field for acceptance criteria. So please go ahead and click that save button just so we
Okay.
don't lose that information. So by default, Jira doesn't give you the acceptance criteria field. You will need to add it.
Ouch.
And yeah, you can add it and add anything else that you think you may need. So to add that, we're not going to do it here live because that
Okay.
will derail us. I already made a video on that. I think that video is only like 4 minutes. I'm going to post it right now as we speak on the Slack channel.
Okay.
You will
All
use that
right.
information to make that change. So
I
once you, yeah, go
that's
ahead.
that's the way that was done in that sample that I was looking for, that I was
Mhm.
based on. So
Yeah, no
think
problem.
okay.
So by default, like I said, Jira doesn't put that field by default. So again, given that I have experience, that's how I know. So I just go ahead and add the field on my
How
own.
about the team capacity for the sprint? Does Jira have a tool? Because in the video that I'm watching from you, you said Jira is one of the worst software.
That's exactly the reason why Atlassian cannot reach out to me for me to promote their business, unfortunately, because
Okay.
I've spoken ill about their business. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
So every tool has its strengths and weaknesses. So Jira, that's one of its weaknesses, not having the capacity planning incorporated in here. So, but
Okay.
anyway, that's for another chapter. Yeah. So far, I think you've done good. Now, when it comes to the estimation, at least I like that you thought about the fact that we need some estimates. So regarding estimation, that's chapter 6. When we get to chapter 6, that's a whole chapter on its own. We will deep dive into it. We'll actually do it live here,
Okay.
practice it, and it will make more sense to you. But that's a good, great start. Thank you so much. So now that Geraldine is here, so do you have any impediments from chapter 4?
No, I do have some questions. I don't know if we'll discuss them at the end because the way I go, it's pretty much looking, pausing, making notes, questions that come into my mind. Later on, I might have an answer to one of the previous questions. I'm like, okay, this is not a question anymore.
Okay, that's good. So, but at this point, given everything you've covered, do you still have any question from based on everything we've covered?
Uh, Well, the question, I do have a lot of them.
Yeah,
Is which
those are the impediments I'm talking about. Go ahead and ask. If it's something that is still ahead, I will let you know. If it's something
okay.
that I think we've covered, I will definitely answer.
Because he's the way I'm like, I'm imagining myself, okay, I'm working into an organization being a scrum master, right? And when I'm
Mhm,
looking at this, it comes to my mind, okay, what happens if? So, as a scrum master, it says in that you do not, what a scrum master is not, right? And
mhm,
you do not report to management the progress of the project, right? But
mhm.
who's actually your direct supervisor? Who,
Good question.
like in real life?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm writing that down. All right. Anything else?
Yes. The difference between, I mean, I probably can look it up, but I just want to like a very short glance
It's
because
okay.
there
Go
is
ahead.
this CSM certified Scrum Master and PSM1, which will be the exam that we're gonna take. What's the difference and what's, I mean, I understand that you have to go into 2 days of school and they would give you an like a code or an assignment that you can go and get that certification. But when you apply for a job, what's best? What are they looking for?
That's a very good
PSM or
question, sir.
CSM?
That's a good question. So to answer the CSM versus PSM one, I actually made a video on that as well. I think that video is like 7 minutes. I'm going to share that so that you understand everything in details, and then you know which one is best, and you would understand why we do encourage people to go for the PSM instead.
Okay, okay.
Mhm. All right.
Now,
Any other question?
a lot of them.
Keep going.
Uh, who is the person planning the capacity? Who's responsible? Because in the video, from my understanding, like you have to have the team members introduce those hours in the same time. If they don't do, you are responsible to make them doing. But at the end of the day, is it me as a scrum master that needs to make sure that all those datas are introduced into the like let's say Jira if we use it or Jira doesn't have that, but anyway.
Mhm, mhm. Good question. Those are really, really good questions you're asking.
And then
So
from
that
there,
is actually chapter 7. So we will not cover that today.
okay.
Mhm.
Oh, so if it's related to that, okay, because I had
Yeah.
some other about the hours, the capacity hours.
Yeah. So for capacity is chapter 7. So
Okay.
usually by the end of chapter 5, after the next class, we will give you homework, which the homework is relative estimation and capacity planning. It's really to watch some 2 videos that are not in the drive, but we always share that information. So from there, everything will make sense to you around capacity.
Okay.
Mhm,
Next one would be how can the sprint goal being so important to be defined like in one of the videos you said that the sprint goal in reality is defined during the refinement, which is
mhm,
actually an optional event.
mhm. Yeah,
So I put it like either the reality hold on, how can this being so important
I
to be
think I understand what you're asking.
and an optional
So
event,
how
so
come the
how can the
sprint
sprint
goal is
goal.
very important and yet it is defined during an optional event when it's that important?
Yeah,
That's what you're
correct.
trying
It's
to ask,
either
right?
the reality it's not reflecting what it's supposed to, or the book is not right, the theory, or something's off here.
All right, no problem. That's a good
Uh,
question. Would address that today. All right, which other one do you have?
uh, 1 sec, system is kind of a problem. So, since daily Scrum is not for problem solving and is just to, make sure that the team members of the team speak up and bring that they do have any problems, right?
Mhm,
When actually those problems are resolved, are there any other meetings after that between? Because I saw like, okay, the people that have impediments, the other ones can go and work on their thing, and you can stay in touch to let's say the ones who have the issues. But
mhm.
if the issues is technical related, are they spending their time together there and finding out
Good.
how to
That's a
figure that out?
that's good. Good question. Would address that. What else?
Uh, so okay. Uh, for example, the codes. I will because I have a lot of notes and I need to go over and I don't want to waste the time just reading my notes here now. I can read them
All right,
while
no problem. So as we proceed, just keep looking through as you can. If you are able to come up with the other questions, feel free to
okay.
ask. And then other than that, you can feel free to capture them on Slack. And
Okay.
then when we connect, we would address them all.
Okay.
Awesome. Those are really, really good questions. That's how I know that you're paying attention to understanding instead of trying to memorize.
There is one more thing which we can go to the guide book workbook that he gave us.
Mhm,
It's on page number 100.
mhm,
Sorry. I don't know if I should. Yeah, I'll bring it up on my screen since you
mhm.
guys can still see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if it's something that I don't understand personally, but it says, okay, in the daily Scrum, the Scrum Master and Scrum team are considered committed roles were
Mhm,
pigs, and the stakeholders are involved roles were chickens. Now, from my understanding, the stakeholders they don't participate in the daily Scrum. How is
mhm.
this making? I mean, for me, it didn't make sense, and I just make a big red flag next to it.
Yeah. So, by the way, the terminology Scrum team that actually refers to the developers based on the new Scrum guide now. I just want to make sure that we are aligned on that.
Yeah, I remember that part as well.
Okay. All right. Now that we are aligned on that, based on what it says and the stakeholders are involved roles. That's a key word there, involved roles or chickens. This is just Mike Cohen's. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mike Cohen. Mike Cohen is like one of he is the co-founder of Agile of Scrum Alliance.
Okay,
Mike Cohen is the co-founder of Scrum Alliance. These are his words here.
okay.
You see. So what they are saying here is that the daily scrum is, remember I said the other time that it's for the developers, by the developers. So it means that even if stakeholders outside of the core team wants to attend the meeting, it's okay as long as they are not as long as they are not, jumping into talk when the
To
daily scrum is still
impede,
ongoing.
okay.
Yes, they can only be involved in terms of the way this happens in real life is during the daily scrum. Again, as a scrum master, it's your job to guide these people. So you would always see like managers, stakeholders, they want to just be in this meeting and they are hijacking the meeting. Remember, this meeting is only 15 minutes. And they'll keep talking and talking. The 15 minutes is over when the team members have not achieved the purpose of the meeting. They do that all the time. And then now, as a scrum master, that's where you come in to guide them to really understand what the daily scrum is and what the daily scrum is not. Remember, I even showed the slide that I created to help team, and I've helped so many different teams with that particular slide to help them understand. That's when this usually I bring that slide. If I see that these stakeholders are in this meeting and they hijack this meeting, and team members, the meeting is over, they are not able to achieve the purpose. So I help them understand if you want to be part of this meeting, great, as long as we understand the expectations. So please let the team finish while they're here, their 15 minutes to collaborate, inspect and adapt the sprint goal and their daily activities, and then uncover impediments. And then we will give you an opportunity to speak during the parking lot. You see, not that we will shut the door for you. No, if you want to come, it's fine as long as you understand your place. You see, so you help them understand their place that yes, we will give you that opportunity. However, the parking lot is there for that. Let the team members use that 15 minutes for the purpose, which is to inspect the sprint goal and adapt, uncover impediments, and then we will move to parking lot. So there you can say whatever you have to say. That is the meaning of that statement.
Okay. All right.
Mhm. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Anything else?
Scrum Guide, homework accountability. If we, no, which one? This one. If we can take a look at the, what? Nothing saved. My bad. Well, I'll get back next time. Sorry.
All right. No problem. All right then. Let's move to Geraldine.
Okay. Um, hmm.
So we are currently doing it the daily scrum approach. That's how we do it in all the programs. If you were here early, maybe you would have been the one to facilitate, but let's see what you
Okay.
got. So what have you
So let's
accomplished? What do you plan to accomplish after today's class? And do you have any impediments?
What I accomplished today was the day we last met. I was able to like do the assignment. Then I try to the impediment that I have is like the other day that I was finding it difficult to. I was telling you that when I click on my Yahoo, my Gmail, it would take me to my
Mm-hmm.
old email that I don't need. So that has been a
Mm-hmm.
problem. I click on the course to look at those videos, to watch the videos, to study. It takes me to my old email. I don't know why. Like
Okay.
it takes me,
Um,
yes. So that
all
has
right, I
been a
think I understand what you're saying. So, however, that's not a part of the scope, but
yeah.
we will write that down. And then once we address any impediment from the scope, then if you are okay with it, you can share your screen and let's try
Okay,
to
so
resolve.
basically I wasn't able to like watch the videos because it did not open. Yeah.
Anyway, so we will get to that. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
okay with it, you can share. I'll let you share your screen right here, and then
Okay.
we try to resolve that. All right.
Okay.
So from the from the chorus. So you say you were not able to accomplish anything?
Yeah, this is what I did. Following just the stories,
Mhm.
like to create the stories and place them in the sprints. That was all
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
So
I mean that's good though. That's good. It's good you're able to do that. So you will need to update your work progress.
like to move them to progress.
Yeah, you need to move them across to reflect the progress you've made.
Okay.
Because we are currently on chapter 4, and the assignment you were given, you also want to generate stories. Why should we break down large user stories? What are user stories? All right. Okay.
The
I
Zoom.
like you were able to come up with your own version of stories.
Yeah, I because from my previous knowledge, I remember that all this is involved in story. So I was just trying to like bring out
Okay.
since I could not
Okay.
get to the videos or
That was
anything.
thoughtful though. That was thoughtful. That was thoughtful of you. All right. So now, which ones have you completed on these user stories you have in there?
Hmm. I know why we should break down user stories.
All right. Then move
Um,
it to done.
okay.
Mhm.
Um, then what are the components of a good user story? I've forgotten that one. Then I know
All
why we
right.
should slice user stories.
Okay, let's stay on that first one. So maybe Niku can help us with that because I think he did a good job.
What are the components?
Yes, what
Mm-hmm.
are the components of a
Right.
good user
So pretty
story?
much it needs to be a very short and nice description, and not in a not in technical words, but in from the user and perspective, like to answer pretty much who is needing that new feature, where the work needs to be done, what, and then the reason why at the end. I looked up the examples as what are components of a good user story. I don't know how to put it in this case, how to make it
Okay.
answer those
I think
questions.
you summarized it okay, but I need us to be able to speak that language. So the components of a good user story, it has to be written following the layout of a good user story, which should involve the who, the what, and the why.
Okay.
As I want to, so that I can. That's the layout of a good user story, which is part of the components of a good user story. Secondly, for you to say that the story is good enough, the entire story should be able to deliver value independently. So that brings us to the second thing you have on your board, the second work item, which is about story slicing. So you want to slice your story vertically. Remember the cake I showed us instead of horizontally. So vertical slicing will ensure that the story will go through the entire SDLC, that is software development lifecycle.
Okay.
So the story should go through the design, dev, testing, and then deployment. That those two is what I consider as the components of a good user story. So if you want to go deeper to ensure that the story is ready to be committed in a sprint, then that's when the invest criteria comes in. But for
Okay.
now, that is it. That's a component. As you're still writing the story, that's a component of a good user story. Ensure it is vertical and ensure that it is written following that layout, the who, the what, capturing the who, the what, and the why. So that why aspect to me is the most important on that layout of a good user story. And the reason is because that why and guides you all to ensure that that story communicates the value that the story will bring by the time it's done. You see, so where you're speaking on so that I can is where you're communicating the value proposition, the why you need this thing, so that you don't end up doing busy work or you don't end up doing work that doesn't give any value to the customer. So that's to me, I think that's the most important piece on a user story. That's it. So if that's clear to you, please move it to done. And by the way, you know, it's really not all about you understanding how to write a user story. You should be able to actually write that user story following that layout of a good user story in the description field. Were you able to do that? I see you muted. So, Geraldine, I asked if you were able to write your user stories to follow the layout of a good user story. Can you open one of your stories? Let's see.
Please, sorry, I didn't get you.
Can you open one of your user stories? Let's see. The ones that are still in to do. Can you open one? Let's check.
There's nothing there.
All right. It's okay if there's nothing there.
Oh,
So,
I see.
yeah. So as
I
part of the
never knew
homework,
about this.
yeah. So in that description field where it says description, that's where you will enter, you will actually write out the story following that layout that we just talked about. That's where it's
Okay.
commonly written. So can you stop sharing your screen?
Okay.
Karen,
Nico, if you don't mind, Nico, can
yeah,
you please share your screen again?
that's what I wanted to say because I found my other
Okay.
two user stories that you cannot
Please help
start
me.
screen
What should
share.
I
Well,
click to stop sharing?
So I think if you check above, just hover your cursor above, you see the stop sharing red button is red. Like,
Okay, okay, I've seen it.
mhm,
Thank you.
yeah. All right, let Nico share again to see what he has put in there. So if you want to open can you go to the one that is full screen? All right.
but for some reason it doesn't pop up
That
here.
one doesn't have it. Let's go to the other story
No,
that
it
has
does when it's in a small. I'll show you what I mean by that. See right here?
oh, but why? Why is it acting like that?
I don't know. That's the thing because I knew I wrote them down
Oh,
on all
click
of
the
them.
save button. Click that save button.
Ah,
All right, then refresh your screen. Let's see if it's gonna, yeah, right now.
there
It's
you go.
because you didn't save it. That's why.
Okay.
Anyway, so Geraldine, that's an example of what a good user story would look like.
Okay.
As a coach, a teacher, I need my students to complete the homework studies. All
Due
right.
to
So, Nico,
yeah.
based on the correction I made on that other one, you will use that information to correct this one
Okay.
because you will write the user story from the learner's perspective. You see, because I'm not the teacher in this case, or the developer is not the one getting value out of this. The
I
user
under
is the one getting value out of this.
I understand from my the reason why I wanted to approach like the not only the student but the teacher in this case was because
Mhm.
sometimes you see, okay, let's say a company wants a website for something and he wants things to get used for his users, like for his customer, and he wants things to get done for himself, like being as an admin or something. And that's why I put
Okay.
it like you as a coach,
Okay.
me as a student,
Okay.
stuff like that. That's the only reason why I put it like you have.
Okay. I mean, I like us to always think about it this way. Think about who will consume this product.
Okay.
Whoever will consume this product, that is how you write the user story from their perspective. If you think that this will be consumed by the teacher, then it's correct. If you think that it's going to be consumed by the student, then you have to write it from a student perspective.
Okay, let me open this
Mhm.
one in this case.
All
Can I?
right. Yes, sure.
Description, save, and then I'll do this. This is the one we haven't discussed it yet.
Yeah, as a student, we need to
I
practice
get
it.
the usual mistakes that I already did. I put it.
Yeah, sure. So Geraldine, based on, okay, Nico, do you mind going to the one that we corrected
We
so
fix it?
Geraldine can see?
Absolutely.
I think it's Scrum
Behavior.
Guide Daily Review.
Yep.
All right, so Geraldine, this is a sample good user story. As a student, I want to be able to review, or I want to review the Scrum Guide daily so that I can adopt the Agile mindset and the Scrum framework faster. You see, this one clearly captures the who, the what, and the why from the user perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an example. That's how I need you to write all of your user stories.
Okay.
That's simple. And then you enter acceptance criteria. So before you came, we were talking about this default Jira doesn't come with the acceptance criteria field, like you'd see the description field. And given that the acceptance criteria field is extremely important, we want to be able to have that. So I said I'm going to post a video on Slack that you will have to watch it. It's a very short video, and you will understand how to add acceptance criteria field in Jira or add any other field that you like.
Okay.
That's part of the homework now. All right, that's it. So let's move on to resolving this impediments from Nico. And then hopefully we have time left to go through to help Geraldine out with her tech issues. All right. Who is the direct supervisor of a Scrum Master? I'm going to share my own experience. So as I used to be a senior agile coach for one organization in the past. I had the role was structured as a senior agile coach, and then we have an agile coach. So the agile coach and the scrum masters under my program all reported to me. I had 6 scrum masters. So the 6 scrum masters and the agile coach, they all reported to the senior agile coach. That's just one instance. And one thing, let me say this before I move forward. It really depends on the organization. Organizations are structured differently. They call their roles different things. So this one was for a financial organization. I work for one medical device company. I was the scrum master. I reported to the director of software engineering. The project manager also reported to the director of software engineering. We all reported to the same director. The product owner also reported to the same person as me at that time. And then all of the developers reported to the engineering manager in that organization.
I'm still not used to know how many managers are there, and everybody's a manager.
Okay. So again, it depends on the organization.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
been in an organization where they had an engineering manager, they had a project manager. Now, this
Plus a
particular
product
medical,
owner.
yeah, so the product owner is different.
Okay.
You know, the standard Scrum role, we have the product owner, the Scrum
Yeah.
Master, the developers, right? So with that, these 3, they still had a project manager and they had an engineering manager. So where an engineering manager comes in is in place of directing the developers from leading the developers from a technical perspective. So see the engineering manager as a people manager, a functional manager. However, they are the ones that supports the developers, they do all the performance evaluations of individual developers. They are the ones who hire and fire the developers and things like that. You see, so yes, they direct the developers. So I usually see a project manager role as, as an overhead. I used to see it as an overhead, really, that if we have an engineering manager, what's the point of having a project manager? That's how I usually see it. You see, so that's in that particular organization, that's how it all sounded to me. Anyway, with this financial institution, so the Scrum Masters and the Agile coach, they reported to me, and then the developers reported to the engineering manager. They didn't have a project manager role, which was perfectly fine. And then the product owner reported to the product manager.
Okay.
So the product manager supported many different product owners. The product owners were under the product manager in that particular organization. Now, I have been in another organization where all the Scrum Masters reported to just a manager. The job of that person was it was like a chief. They call that person a chief Scrum Master. But what this person did was really supervising the Scrum Masters, guiding the Scrum Masters, and all these Scrum Masters reported to that chief Scrum Master.
Okay.
So see that chief Scrum Master role as a release train engineer role. That's how the chief Scrum Master role is like.
What's the most common job title we would get, like, as a beginner? Because we will be beginners. We can say that.
Scrum Master. No, by the time you're done with level 2, you would not see yourself as a beginner. I don't like using this statement, trust me. I don't like using this statement, but that's an assurance if you keep your mind open and you just follow what we're asking you to do. By the time you're done with level 2, because a beginner will not earn a salary of about $100,000. Think about it. So the experiences that we share in level 2, the things that you go through in level 2, I really don't filter to say, okay, because you've only paid for a Scrum, I'm only giving you this information. No, I'm actually empowering you with most of the experiences that I have from a Scrum Master perspective. So you should be a senior. Now it only takes your confidence to go in an interview and defend yourself, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not had anyone that goes through level 2 and land their jobs and earn less than $100,000. I haven't so far.
Yeah.
You see. And then one other thing too, it's only this 2024 that I've actually seen people accepting roles of $90,000. One person actually accepted a role of $85,000, which to me, I would say it's okay, because the end of 2023 and this 2024 has been crazy in the job market due to this inflation and all this reality things going on. So I see salaries are being kind of cut and things happening. So yeah, that will be fine. But again, the standard pay for a normal Scrum Master is 100,000. Around a senior Scrum Master or Scrum Master 2, Scrum Master 3, again, depending on the organization, they call them different things. Averagely, you should be looking into 100,000 to 140,000 for a Scrum Master role.
Because that's another thing which was on my questions when I asked about PSM and CSM. Is it worth getting, like, is it really
both?
worth? Yeah, PSM to how do you get that?
So now moving to that second question, CSM versus PSM, I will send that video, you watch it and you really understand it. Now, for how many certifications you should be getting, I always say no education is useless. All of it's definitely useful. However, it's not a need for you to learn a role. Having just one is good enough. If you have to take another one, I would rather suggest a scaled certification like SAFE. Instead of taking PSM2, I would rather suggest you take SAFE Scrum Master certification. So that's it for certification. And the reason why I suggest SAFE Scrum Master is because SAFE actually owns 30% of the Agile market share.
Okay.
And most organizations, these big organizations, especially government organizations, large corporations, they are leaning towards SAFe to scale their agile practices. You see. So that is why I suggest that if you want to take another certification, it should be SAFe instead of doing another PSM 2 or 3. You can do that later once you have learned your job and now you understand things from a reality perspective. From there, you can make informed decision on what to do next.
Okay.
Yeah, and then moving to, I will skip the capacity question until when we get to chapter 6 or 7. How can the sprint goal, okay, how come the sprint goal is defined in an unofficial event or an optional event?
Yeah.
Because the sprint backlog refinement session is, let me turn on my light here, please. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
So because the backlog refinement session is an optional event, what is really official is the sprint planning. If you read the Scrum Guide, you will see in the Scrum Guide that the sprint goal is defined in collaboration with the product owner and the developers during the sprint planning. Now, if we are taking out time to pre-plan for the sprint planning, it just makes sense that would establish a goal during that time we are pre-planning, which is usually the backlog refinement session.
Okay.
So that's why we do that during the backlog refinement session. I've seen most teams, they wouldn't do that. They would just refine stories and then they would identify the goal during the sprint planning. But when Karen is coaching teams, that's not how I coach them. I coach them to establish a goal and then do reverse engineering by identifying the items that they need to be able to meet that goal, which again, it starts from backlog refinement session.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for the impediments that concerns today. For the rest, I'm going to send you the video on how to add acceptance criteria field and the CSM versus PSM.
No,
Now, yes,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go
I'm
ahead.
always gonna be like this, like I always.
No, go ahead. I guess that's why we are having these live sessions.
Okay. In reality, let's say you get hired into an organization, and as an example, they're using Jira, right? Now, a new thing starts. Am I the one responsible on setting up everybody, like every team member, giving them instructions how to use it? Let's say where you go somewhere who is not adopting Scrum yet or Agile, and they want to, right? You have to train them, you have to show them every single piece of it, right? Pretty much we need to learn this really good, not like we're doing now in Jira.
I'm laughing because most of the time when students come through this program, they have the tendency of minimizing their skills. What makes you think it should be more complex than this?
Well, because in order to explain somebody, let's say if I have a tester in that Scrum team who has no clue about Jira or what is this, I need to tell him, okay, you'll need to put your capacity hours. What is capacity hours? To explain him all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Don't
at the
worry.
end,
By the way, there is no capacity hours in Jira, so you will not need to do that.
it's
So
if it's another software.
by the time you get to capacity planning, it will all come together for you. I think the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't get harder than this. It doesn't. In your head, you're thinking it should be more complex than this. It doesn't. What you're really guiding your teams to learn, to do, so that they can really use their Jira appropriately, is all they have to do is update their work, move their work across as they're doing like that. Write those stories. I mean, the product owner writes these stories, but again, if the product owner is not putting this information, you will need to guide them to put in that information, which you already put it. That's it. That there is nothing else to put. As long as you open that template and fill out the templates, that is all. You don't have to go do any other magic. And then for your developers, your own is to ensure that they are updating their board, moving the work across. That's all developers do in there. Nothing else.
Okay.
That's it. Now, I'm gonna also share a video. I'm gonna post that video on I'll post that video on Slack. That video talked about all of the things that a Scrum Master should know in Jira.
Okay.
That's the title of that video. It captures all the things that a Scrum Master should focus on in Jira. You know, Jira is a very big project management tool. Now, based on your function, you would focus on learning what your function needs for you to be efficient on your role. So I actually made a video on that. I think that was like a year ago. I'm gonna share that video. Yes, Geraldine.
I wish to ask a question. Are developers in their own studies taught how to use Jira, like the software that are going to use for work, like we are being taught?
That's why you're there now. You would teach them. Anyway, I'm just actually pulling your legs. But honestly, that's how I like you to think about it. I want you to think about you will have to go teach them. Really. I don't want you to think that someone else will have to do it. Because I've been in so many different organizations that I am the one who introduced this tool to them. They didn't know anything about it. They were still using Gantt charts. They were still using spreadsheets to manage their work. Because I want my own life to be easy, I introduced Jira to them. So while you're introducing it to them, you will not wait for them to hire a Jira admin. And by the way, to answer your question, Nicole, there is actually an official role called Jira admin. The Jira admins are the one who gets this whole Jira set up and stuff like that. I mean, to customize it based on what the organization wants. But to get the board set up is what you already did. You downloading it, doing what I mean, you've already done it, create a project, and that's all. There's nothing else to do. So, but again, there's an official role called the Jira admin where if they need different functions added to the standard Jira, they pay different packages. This admin is the person that you will reach out to. So when you join your organization, you need to know who your Jira admin is, if there is one. If there isn't any, then that's okay. What you do is you learn every day as you go. That's when you start using different tools, using YouTube, going on Atlassian side. Atlassian has all the job aids on how to do anything in their product,
Yeah.
about anything. So you see most of this video we put on YouTube, that's where we get them. We get them from these suppliers, and then we just get the piece of what we need, and then we come put them on YouTube that you all are watching. Really.
Yeah. This friend of mine that he been to your courses.
Yeah.
Anyway, he
Mhm.
said his first month on the job, he thought
What's his
every
name?
single
Is it a he or a she?
it's a he. I don't want to disclose names,
Oh,
but
I mean, you can text it to me privately. I always like to know because I like to appreciate
it's a
them.
friend of a friend. Let's put it this way. And
Mhm.
I know my friend, not him exactly. And long
Okay.
story short, he was saying first month on the job, he was thinking like every single day they will fire him because he
Mhm.
wasn't really. And actually,
Yeah.
they liked what he did. They
Mhm.
said good things about him that
Mhm.
compared to the previous lady, he was
Mhm.
doing very good. When
Yeah.
every day he was expecting that he'll be fired. Like, oh,
Yeah. See, that's what I keep telling people every day. If you go through being agile consulting program, if they let you go on the job, it's because either that environment wasn't even meant for you. It's a toxic environment. Hardly ever is your fault. That is if you're doing the things that we have put in you. Really, I'm that confident in my students on their skills, their competency, because we know what we are giving them. What we are giving them is it's like 15 times what they are paying for. Trust me. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna add that to my homework, sharing that Jira video with you
okay.
all. Now let's use this. I don't see how we would use this 3 minutes to help Geraldine. But Geraldine, can you quickly share your screen and show me what you're talking about?
Oh, okay. Let me get to Yahoo Mail. Okay. Um, am I there already? Let me see. Seems as if I already deleted. No, I'm not there. Let me come, please. 1 minute.
Anyway, another thing that you can do is let me share my own screen and show you.
Okay.
You have a Gmail account. Are you able to access your Gmail account?
Yes.
All right, let me share my screen and show you something.
Okay.
Okay, assuming that you're inside your Gmail, right? If you click on this here, right here,
Where?
that is assuming that you're on your computer. Are you seeing where my
Yeah.
cursor is? You click on
Yes.
this many dots here.
Yes.
Go to Drive, the app
Mm-hmm.
in here called Drive. If you click on Drive,
Mm-hmm.
then you go to Share with Me, Shared with Me. So if you go to
Okay.
Shared with Me, you should be able to see the different things that have been shared with you. I'm sure because you just created that email, it should only be our course materials. So you'll see all of them there. That's one way. Another way is your phone, or you can actually download this app on its own, like an app, and have it on your desktop. You see,
Which app?
the Drive, this Google Drive.
Google
So you can
Drive.
just go and look up Google Drive.
Okay.
Just go look up Google Drive, drive.google.com. You see, and then download it. As in the process of downloading and installing it, you will need to put in the email that you want to put in, which would be that one you're talking about. And then
Okay.
from there, you should be able to see all of that materials in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the other ways of accessing that. You can access it directly through the app itself, or you come through your email, or go through the link that was shared to you in that email. That's it.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's so
So
funny
try
that I
all
will
of
click
that.
the link and it will take me back to a school and my email address. That's it's just so funny.
I
School.
know, I know. I used to have that too, and so many people have that. What you do now is either you sign in through another account, you select the other account, or add user account option. Select that one and now enter the information you want to enter and the password, and you should be able to access it. Anyway, go try those different ones, and if you still have
Okay.
any issue, then I would say I don't know what to say, but you have to figure it out so that you
Yeah.
can be able to get to your materials. You have to
I
figure it
think
out.
I'll be
Google it.
able to get to it through using my phone than my
Okay,
laptop.
Nico is saying something.
I was
Yes.
trying to say the idea is all that materials uploaded in a Google Drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, on Googling it, how am I accessing a Google Drive file that was shared with me? Boom. And you'll find ways depending on your operating system that you're using on your laptop or
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, try those different options and let's see
Okay.
what comes out of it.
Okay.
All right, team.
homework.
Yeah, I already
Right.
gave the homework. Remember? I already gave
No.
homework. The homework is to configure acceptance criteria field on your Jira tool and continue to read your Scrum guide. And just so you know, usually by the time we get done with chapter 5, most people are usually already ready for their exams. That's really the standard. I'm not saying that you have to rush, go take it just because I said that. No, I'm saying that most of the time people are already that far ahead. They really feel ready and they're taking their exams and then they are texting me, Karen, I just passed my exams, and we're celebrating them, just so you know. Yeah, so again, remember page 343 on your workbook has the slide on the direction on how to properly prepare for your exams, prioritizing the questions inside the drive.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Once the recording is available, as usual, I'll make sure I share before Nico gets ahead of me. All right, team. Thank you so much and have an amazing weekend. Bye-bye.
All right.